Hi everybody, it's Barney from Barsan Homestead. Here's a picture of Old Blue that Sandy and I bought for our dump truck. And it's an old green truck with 4-foot sides. 1970, 40,000 original miles. Bought it from the original owner. Interior and the outside is actually for the year in very nice shape. This is me taking the carburetor off because it would not run good, and we put a carburetor kit in it and there was lots of garbage inside the carburetor. It had sat for 10 years. It didn't run good. It still didn't work well after. This here is now a carburetor rebuilt from the coast, and there was some work parts in it that they were able to fix right up for us. Now we're into the brakes. Brand new master cylinder, wheel cylinders, 2 in each wheel, and brake lines, some brake lines. Anyway, it worked out very well. New wheel seals, and the brake shoes are like 85 to 90% still. Okay, I got the old fuel tank out of the 1970 there, Old Blue. So I got it balanced on these sawhorses here. We'll try and give you an idea. I got the sending unit out of it here, and see if we can get a picture so you can kind of get an idea of the rust in there. This will give you an idea. Just watch the inlet there. Quite a bit of, even here, smells like old rotten gas coming out, which I'm sure it is, and a lot of little rust in it. Needed some chain to put in there, and my buddy had some nice crossover links from truck chains that will work perfectly, and they're all nice and shiny, so they won't be putting more rust in there. That ought to take the rust off. Anything that's loose. I can see the chains going by the hole and a whole bunch of rust going with it. It gets a little heavy after a bit. Wire, and there's one of them came out, and you can see it's pretty rusty with dust now, so it beat off a lot. I'm sure after the pressure washer it'll help a lot once we get the rest of these out. Fines that are coming out of it right now, right there, just fine rust. We'll see what she does now with the blower. I'm sure it'll be a mess. only way to get it all out through the pressure washer now. That is a lot of fine rust. And you can really smell the old gas in the tube. Of course, this truck sat for 10 years, so a lot of it evaporated. And of course, this made a mess of the carburetor. That's why we had to have it rebuilt. Got a new fuel pump. Now we'll get the tank cleaned, and then we'll put on new filters again. That's ugly. That's ugly, boy. Thinking that's going through the carburetor. The rebuild carburetor shop down at the coast told me that all these fines are like a little sandblaster inside your carburetor just wrecking it. And it would make sense. And the filter would not stop this fine stuff like that, what's in that dust. It will not catch it all. It's, I guess, made for bigger stuff. I said, why don't we put 2 filters on in a row? And he said, what would happen is the truck would starve for fuel when you get it on a big hill with 2 filters. There's a high possibility of it anyway. So I decided, okay, we won't do that. We'll just do what we can here. But I'll get the pressure washer out. It's warming up here now. It's above freezing. And we'll try that next. Get a bunch more of this out of there. Okay, we got the pressure washer up. We're just gonna blow her out as much as we can. Now you can see the water is coming out of there pretty rusty colored looking. I'll give you a shot here. Pretty brown, doing its job. Okay, we got the tank all washed out. I took, and I forgot to film it, but I just put 4 gallons of just dollar store cleaning vinegar into there. I'm gonna put I put the cap on. Now I'm gonna put the old sending unit back in just so I can slosh it around a bit. But we can kind of get an idea, hopefully that focused in, on this sending unit. It's pretty rusty. This little sock on the end's kind of yellow. We'll see what it comes out looking like when we take it back out. Got 4 gallons of vinegar in there, and I've sloshed it all around this way and that, and I'm just going to continue to do that periodically. Good morning, everyone. We got the fuel tank here out of the 70 GMC, and as you know, we've been soaking it a bit with vinegar here, as I found on YouTube from other people. And what's happened is I got delayed with some other projects, so I've let it had probably a day and a half sitting on this side, at least a day and a half on this side. We jostled it in between. I've dumped all the vinegar out once. It is very dark with rust color. And then I blew it out and stuff and dumped it out, and we got probably a cup of rust out of it. I was pretty surprised. But I think we have the same amount again here. So I will get the cap off, and maybe I'll see if I can get a bit of a picture here for you. That black stuff is all just rust loose in there. And of course the cap is all rusty, but as you notice, see, you wipe with your finger and it comes right off. So I'm going to empty everything out of it and empty the vinegar all out, that is. Get out what grit I can. And then I'm going to, I still have my little chains going back and forwards in there again right now. And then I believe what I'm going to do is take the pressure washer and pressure wash it out again now. This is probably the last time I'm going to do it. Try and pressure wash everything that I can. Then we'll put water and baking soda in there to neutralize the vinegar acidicness. And then we'll pressure wash it again and just rinse it out basically. And then we'll dry it out with the air hose and leave it in the sun and for a few hours, and then I'll come by and blow it again and see how that turns out. And hopefully it will be clean. So we'll get a look inside there after a bit here. This is a new sending unit. The old one was so rusty it was rotted off and everything and all seized up. OER, original equipment. Found it in the States. Classic Parts or something like that it was. I can't remember right now. Anyway, comes with everything. All original to OEM float on her. And all the wiring comes with a new gasket. And I put just a touch of oil on that just to help it slide, and a new lock ring. So let's see if we can get her in there. Got to remember which way your fuel line was aiming. Mine aims to this big flat spot on the tank here. So we can get this out of the way. This little gasket lined right up. The sending unit itself has two little tabs that stick up here, and they lock into a position right on the tank where it really can't go anywhere but where it's supposed to be. Once you get that centered, then your lock ring goes on, tabs sticking up this way towards me. Kind of have to compress the O-ring a bit to get it started under the lips. There it goes. I just use a chisel and the hammer. Taps in a circle and the wedges go underneath the lips. This is quite a blunt chisel, it's not like a sharp one. Okay, she's in there. The O-ring's dead center underneath her. I don't see it sticking out anywhere. The tab is completely tight. It's locked in. Ready for install into the truck. So that'll be the next step. Then I have to flush the fuel line out, change the fuel filter, and then we're ready to hook her up and put some gas in the tank, see how she runs. We got the fuel tank back in here. Just finished. Got her all bolted back in. You can see the new sending unit there. It's pretty amazing, this old truck. 40,000 whatever original miles. But you know, you got these wires running to the fuel tank and all these original little clips. Everything is still on, you know, everything's tied up nice. I only found one spot where there was kind of a, you know, Mickey Mouse wire job. But I mean, look at that whole girl. She's in pretty nice shape. $40,304 miles, 0.8. So right now, I'm just, I was able to take the fuel line where it hooks on the tank there and disconnect down under the cab on that far side over there. And that's where I found the fuel filter on the frame. And I blew it out to there. Got that all cleaned out. And now we're just working on this. Got the new carburetor on, but as you can see, the fuel line is not hooked on because I have to pump some fuel through once I put some back in the tank here. I'll put a can under this end here and catch it. I just cleaned that line from there down to the fuel pump, which is right down there. You can see it right there, that new shiny one. So I want to clean the line out the rest of the way, but it's a canister, old style canister filter on here. I thought you'd be interested to see. It should be no surprise after seeing what was in the tank to see what fell out of that thing. Like just balls and balls of rust. And look in here. Let's see. Isn't that nice? So no doubt we need a new filter. I'm amazed it ran for us and did all that work. Now we'll see what's in here. Look at that. No wonder the carburetor had goobers in it. So I shall clean this little guy out and get that all smartened up and get some new filters. Good morning, everyone. Some more of my review on the old GMC here. 1970. So I just got the carburetor on yesterday. I'll just pop the hood here and okay. There she is, all rebuilt. Brand new. I couldn't believe the difference it makes. I'll show you in just a second here. Just sounds wonderful. Just purrs, that engine. Thought I'd give you a start up here. -12, sitting here all night. I turned the key and started it for a half a second, then I thought about this and I thought, oh, I'll shut it off and show you a cold startup, but it just purrs. So the old girl is, I'm really pleased with this whole truck. I mean, you stop and think about the age of it. What are we at? 1970. We're at 2024. Oh, and by the way, I just filled the fuel tank right to the top because remember we had put in a new sending unit. I had tested these gauges according to some guys on YouTube and they worked fine. And I had to put the sending unit in, but you can see there, it just goes a touch above full. But pretty good. Let's see. Turn the heater off. Listen to that. Isn't that wonderful? Now I got the choke on a little because she's ice cold. But just purrs. I can't believe how well it works compared to what it was. I almost drove away and forgot to show you here. My wife said, how bad did it smoke this morning now with the carburetor all rebuilt? And I said, there's no raw fuel smell. And it just fired right up and it runs beautiful. But look at that. That's just exhaust steam. It's still at least -10 out here right now. And it was -12 this morning, but there's no, it's blowing towards me. There's no overfueling smell now. And choke is off now. It's just idling. A little bit of fast idle there yet, but no haze. I said in the video previous, we should have called her Hazy, but we can't. She has no haze to it. Hasn't burned a drop of oil yet since we've been running it either. So it's been excellent. Here's old Blue. And there's the load I just dropped off. It ran beautiful on the way over here. Just doing really good. Very pleased with my carburetor rebuilt that I got done at Canadian Carburetors down at the coast. Head back to home. Thank you for watching, everybody, as we walked you through what we did to old Blue to get her on the road. I do get to drive it once in a while, but not too often. Sandy's usually off to town in the truck. She likes it so much. It runs so good. Yeah, probably not. Well, God bless all. We'll see you in the next video.